As the Green Bay Packers gear up for the upcoming draft, they find themselves at a pivotal crossroads, holding 8 picks, yet missing a first-round selection for the first time since 1986. This is a significant moment for General Manager Brian Gutekunst, who faces the daunting task of bolstering a roster that has seen some key departures this offseason. Fans, where are you watching from today? Share your thoughts on how you feel about the team's draft strategy in the comments below. The absence of a first-round pick is a stark departure from the norm. While the Packers have navigated through drafts without first-rounders in 2008 and 2017, those were the result of trades made during the events themselves. This year, however, the situation is different. The team traded away 2 first-round picks to acquire Micah Parsons, leaving the front office with a much slimmer draft capital to work with. Despite this, Gutekunst has shown a focus on accumulating picks, trading Dontavian Wicks for a 5th-round pick in 2026 and a 6th-rounder in 2027, along with a compensatory 7th-round pick for the loss of center Josh Myers to the Jets last offseason. So with 8 picks in hand, all eyes are on what the Packers will do next. Historically, Gutekunst has not hesitated to take cornerbacks early, as seen with his first 2 selections being Jaire Alexander and Josh Jackson. However, since picking Eric Stokes at 29 in 2021, the Packers have shied away from selecting cornerbacks until the late rounds. This has left the depth at the position lacking, especially considering the recent struggles of Carrington Valentine, Kalen King, and Micah Robinson. With the obvious vulnerability at cornerback, it's time for the Packers to elevate both the ceiling and the floor of this unit. The front office has done its homework, scouting cornerback prospects extensively, making it highly likely that they will snag at least 1, if not 2, during the draft. On the offensive side of the ball, the Packers have been surprisingly proactive in adding talent early, with recent first-round picks like Jordan Morgan and Matthew Golden. Yet, the trend has been to leverage high draft capital for defensive improvements, and with a new defensive coordinator in Jonathan Gannon, this approach is likely to continue. The Packers urgently need to infuse high-end talent into their defense, particularly in cornerback, defensive tackle, and edge rusher positions. The reality is that finding prospects with high upside in these critical areas later in the draft is increasingly challenging. When the Packers allocate their top picks on defensive players, they typically pivot to selecting developmental offensive talent in the later rounds. This strategy seems poised to repeat itself in 2026, especially considering the recent trade of Wicks to the Eagles, which might indicate a plan to draft a wide receiver. Replacing a 1-year deal with a 4-year potential could be a savvy move, even if the caliber of a new player remains uncertain. Additionally, the offensive line is another area where depth is a pressing concern. Gutekunst has a history of targeting multiple offensive linemen in a single draft class, so expect that trend to continue. As we look ahead to the draft, it's clear that the Packers are at a crucial juncture. With a blend of strategic picks and the need to address both sides of the ball, the next moves could define the franchise's trajectory for years to come. The anticipation is palpable, and it's time to dive deeper into what these potential outcomes could mean for the Green Bay Packers. Let's see how this story unfolds. As the Green Bay Packers gear up for the NFL Draft, the anticipation is palpable. With their first pick coming in the middle of the 2nd round, specifically at pick 52, fans are left wondering if history will repeat itself. After all, this was the same slot that brought them the unforgettable Greg Jennings back in 2006. With the echoes of Jennings' impactful career still resonating in Lambeau Field, one can't help but hope the Packers can unearth another gem this time around. Let's take a moment to reflect on what Jennings brought to the Packers. Selected out of Western Michigan, Jennings burst onto the scene as a rookie, securing a spot as a starting receiver alongside the legendary Donald Driver. He finished his first season with an impressive 45 receptions for 632 yards and 3 touchdowns, earning himself a spot on the All-Rookie team. Notably, one of those touchdowns marked a significant milestone for a certain Brett Favre, his 400th career touchdown. This moment wasn't just a personal achievement for Favre. It was the beginning of a series of iconic touchdowns that Jennings would come to embody during his tenure. In subsequent seasons, Jennings continued to shine, particularly in 2007 when he caught Favre's 420th and 421st touchdown passes, setting a new standard in NFL history. Moreover, Jennings made his mark on the record books once again when he caught the very first touchdown thrown by Aaron Rodgers, the heir apparent to Favre's throne. From 2008 to 2010, Jennings had a stretch of 3 consecutive seasons surpassing the 1,000-yard receiving mark, solidifying his status as one of the most reliable and explosive players on the field. His crowning achievement, of course, came during Super Bowl 45, where he delivered a stellar performance with 4 catches for 64 yards and 2 touchdowns, helping to secure the Lombardi Trophy for Green Bay. Despite his eventual departure to the Minnesota Vikings, a move that understandably left a sour taste in the mouths of Packers fans, Jennings' contributions to the franchise are etched in its history. Inducted into the Packers Hall of Fame in 2022, Jennings remains one of the team's all-time greats, ranking among the top 10 in receiving yards with 6,537 to his name. As the Packers prepare to make their selection this week, the hope is that they can replicate Jennings' impact on the team. However, the landscape of the draft presents a plethora of choices. With the recent trade of Dontavian Wicks, one could argue that the Packers should look at bolstering their wide receiver core, perhaps mirroring the decision they made with Jennings. Names like Bryce Lance and Ted Hurst have been tossed around, but there's a growing concern that 52 might be too high for either of them. But let's not ignore the pressing needs on the defensive side of the ball. With a glaring hole in the cornerback position following Jaire Alexander's decline, it's crucial that the Packers prioritize this area. Historically, neglecting the cornerback room has cost Green Bay dearly, and it's time for the front office to take a stand and invest in bolstering this roster. The options are there, and the urgency is palpable. Every moment lost could be a missed opportunity to secure a future star. Ultimately, the Packers' choices at 52 could dictate the trajectory of their season and beyond. Will they opt for a playmaker on offense, reminiscent of Jennings, or will they finally fortify a defense that has seen better days? The clock is ticking, and with each passing moment, fans are left to ponder what might unfold. There's no denying that the next few days will be crucial for Green Bay, and we're all on the edge of our seats waiting to see what the front office decides. Stay tuned as we dive into the next segment, where we'll explore another critical aspect of the Packers' offseason strategy. As we dive deeper into the unfolding narrative of the NFL offseason, it seems that the air is thick with speculation surrounding Aaron Rodgers and his future. The Pittsburgh Steelers' Cameron Hayward has thrown his hat in the ring, making headlines once again by urging Rodgers to return to the Steel City for another season. But what does this mean for the Green Bay Packers and their fan base? Hayward's comments echo sentiments from earlier this spring, where he conveyed a straightforward message. Just return, baby. This is not just a casual plea. It's a rallying cry from a player who has seen the impact Rodgers can have within a locker room. The Steelers are reportedly optimistic about re-signing Rodgers, envisioning him as the key element for their upcoming season. Fans, I ask you, where are you watching from, and what do you think of this potential move? Is it time for Rodgers to don another jersey, or should he remain a legend in Green Bay? Rodgers' tenure in Pittsburgh lasted a single campaign, but it was enough for him to leave a lasting impression. Hayward reflects on the camaraderie they established, noting how Rodgers brought an undeniable energy and accountability to the team. He praised Rodgers' dedication and football IQ, qualities that are hard to come by and invaluable in today's game. This begs the question for all of us Packers supporters. Can we in good conscience allow our franchise's legacy to wear another team's colors? The Steelers are preparing for the 2026 NFL Draft and are still holding their breath, waiting for Rodgers to make a definitive decision before the big day. Despite the confidence from within the organization, there's an underlying tension. Hayward himself seemed uncertain about when Rodgers would make his intentions known, hinting at the possibility that Pittsburgh might have to move forward without him. This uncertainty is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it allows for speculation and excitement. On the other, it leaves fans anxious about what comes next. The reality is that if Rodgers decides to take his talents to Pittsburgh, it could signal the end of an era in Green Bay. The Packers have built an identity around Rodgers, and losing him would not only impact the franchise, but also the millions of fans who have supported him through thick and thin. Meanwhile, the Steelers are left with Mason Rudolph and rookie Will Howard as their current options for spring workouts. While these players have potential, they're not the seasoned veteran that Rodgers represents. The organization's willingness to embrace the uncertainty of a future without their star quarterback speaks volumes about their belief in the talent they have on the roster. But let's be honest, fans, Can they really compete at the highest level without a player of Rodgers' caliber? As we wrap up this segment, it's clear that the winds of change are blowing through the NFL, and the potential departure of Rodgers could have ramifications for both the Packers and the Steelers. If you're a devoted Green Bay fan, what are your thoughts on Rodgers possibly joining another team after all he has achieved in Wisconsin? This is a pivotal moment, and your opinions matter more than ever. Before we close, I urge you to subscribe and share your thoughts on the Aaron Rodgers saga. Are you ready for a future without him in green and gold? The conversation is just getting started, and as always, we'll keep you updated on every twist and turn. Your voice is crucial as we navigate these uncertain waters together.